Hello there. I thought I'd take you through a bit of legislation and ask you, where do you think that law came from? Now, there's a bill going through Parliament at the moment called the Counter-Terrorism and Border Security Bill 2017-19, published on the 6th of June 2018 and sponsored by the Home Secretary Sajid Javid. Its purpose, according to the blurb, is to make provision in relation to terrorism, to make provision enabling persons at ports and borders to be questioned for national security and other related purposes, and for connected purposes. So, looking to enact government policy then. And there's a nice briefing paper on it explaining about making it an offence to express opinions or beliefs supportive of proscribed organisations, as well as criminalising the publication of terrorist supporting pictures. It further strengthens the force of existing offences and increases some maximum sentences. There's also a Home Office fact sheet that explains such things as the maximum penalties for certain offences increasing from as little as 7 years for some offences, like for example the encouragement of terrorism, to 15 years. That's more than doubling it. Please remember that 15-year figure, as you may come across it later on in the video. Anyway, that's quite a jump, don't you think? From 7 to 15 years. And no media outcry or even comment at all? All okay so far? After all, with the increase in the terrorist threat, one can understand a move to get tough on the perpetrators, can't one? But some parts of the bill have, though, attracted criticism. For example, about the way that the publication of images that arouse reasonable suspicion that the person is a member or supporter of a proscribed organisation could be dealt with. On this, Professor Harvey of Queen's University Belfast School of Law said, "There is a risk that the broad scope of this new offence will have a chilling effect and further undermine guarantees on freedom of expression. Although notionally targeted at a member or supporter of a proscribed organisation, the offence is of such breadth as to raise legitimate human rights concerns about its scope and potential application." Now, as far as I can see, there's been barely a squeak from anyone about this, including from Her Majesty's loyal opposition, whose job it is to oppose everything with vigour to ensure that good law is made that works in the interests of the UK, and not the EU, I should point out. So a sudden thought struck me, and you know where I'm going with this one, don't you? I went back through some EU directives and found Directive EU 2017/541 of the 15th of March 2017 on combating terrorism, which says that EU states have to have transposed this international law by the 8th of September 2018. Both the UK bill and the EU directive are very long, but just to give you an indication, under Article 15.3 of the EU Directive, Member States shall take the necessary measures to ensure that offences listed in Article 4 are punishable by custodial sentences, with a maximum sentence of not less than 15 years for the offence referred to in point A of Article 4, that being the directing of a terrorist group. Funny that all these offences mentioned in the UK bill now seem to have sentences that are equal to or exceed those required by the EU directive, isn't it? So, does this mean that we have had to put these sentences in place because the EU told us to? Well, actually, no. I'll explain. Under paragraph 41 of that EU directive, it says, "In accordance with Articles 1 and 2 of Protocol number 21 on the position of the United Kingdom and Ireland in respect of the area of freedom, security and justice, annexed to the Treaty of the European Union and to the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union, and without prejudice to Article 4 of that protocol, those member states are not taking part in the adoption of this directive and are not bound by it or subject to its application. And the Home Office screed itself says that this legislation is in response to the developing threat landscape, making no mention at all of EU directives, etc. Now let's jump to the Republic of Ireland, which I've already pointed out does not have to implement this directive, but where the Irish Times reported in June 2017, the state intends to introduce laws to make it a crime to travel to another country to engage in terrorism or join a terror group. The laws will form part of the state's implementation of an EU directive which requires member states to enact tougher anti-terror laws. Ireland has yet to officially implement the directive of the European Parliament on combating terrorism, but fully intends to do so, a Department of Justice spokesman said. Now that's being honest with the people of Ireland. And you can understand the Republic doing so as an ongoing EU 27 member. But the UK? OK, you could argue that it is part of making sure EU and UK laws are still the same after Brexit Day as they were before it. But my responses to that would be, we were exempt anyway, so why? Why was it not just swept up in the EU withdrawal bill if we were going to do it? Do we need to do this just for trade purposes anyway? And if it is in response to the EU directive, why not be honest? Now, I'll leave it to you to decide whether the UK bill is really an independent move by UK lawmakers or not, as well as the reasons behind it. I know what I think. So please let us all know what you think by leaving a comment below. Thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.